I cried for hours before anyone came.
To see.
So my fragility factor is very different. But we can all have the power of, like, we're all anti-fragile, but we can all test ourselves in that, right? We all are the flower that can bust through concrete. But some of us even are fragile and being the jackhammers. But it's like, strength is effortlessness. Strength is when it doesn't look like you're jackhammering through it.
But that takes time.
And that takes time. You gotta take time to bloom. And you gotta be easy on the self. You gotta trust the self. You gotta believe in the self.
Yes.
Exactly.
And allow yourself to make mistakes during that process.
Exactly.
Because
fragile period.
Because
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
And fragile periods of life.
It's a long period.
It's a long period.
Yeah.
But it's also like micro and macro, and it's like, I don't know, like coming out of the 3 years I just came out of, I remember the day I made a choice to live through it, because I was like, do I want to live through this? It seems pretty terrible. I don't know if I do. I said, okay, I'm going to live through it. And then the next question was, how do you want to live through this?
Right.
And it was like, I don't want at the end of this journey, at this time period, because I knew it was probably going to be 2 to 3 years to get out of the
Well, that's your truck everyone was watching. Everyone's looking at your truck. Absolutely.
They wanted to be the new delivery truck for Good Pie.
Yeah.
I guess I could, you know? I mean,
And he was all about it.
Yeah, it's the apocalypse. I guess we all gotta make a living somehow.
He was eyeing your truck.
Yeah,
You gotta make a living.
I like it. I built it about
It's a good thing.
8 years ago.
I made it.
It's awesome. I love the color.
And the living does come from trucks like that. It's kind of funny. Simple things that don't enable us.
So,
Oh, really?
You ordered this truck from the factory. If you didn't say a color, you got forest green. So I
Oh my
said,
gosh, that's so cool. That's my favorite color.
Yeah.
It is.
It's up on a 95
Gosh, holy shit!
wow.
Look at this table.
It's so funny. We always think we need to reinvent.
Have a good night.
But we
Yeah,
don't.
you too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like, the truck was good enough then.
It really just was.
Good enough is hard to learn.
Yeah, like just
Yeah,
fucking
for sure.
allow
Right?
it. You
Like,
don't need a fucking
the car
custom.
was good enough then, and then we've evolved it so much that we create the competition.
And now we're back to it. In the design profession where everything is custom and you can customize whatever you want. That is not always a good thing. It's not, and I'm often like, well, let's just break it down. What do you want? Like we might not need
Then why do
to-
you want it?
Yeah, and we might not need to customize. Like,
Right, why did you
like
want it that way?
customization
Right.
can be so challenging. And allowing people to have whatever they want, holy hell, to your point.
Gives you way more like
No, and then
way
it
too
just
much flexibility.
and it also just like attracts
an unwantedness and like we didn't get what you wanted. I'm like, that's not my problem. Like
Well,
your
I just-
expectation is way more than
sometimes-
Like, I
So-
purposely put my plants through terrible nights.
hardships.
On purpose. Like, I know I could put them in my
Right.
nursery
right.
at 85 degrees
Right.
perfectly, and I was like, you know what, but you're not going to be strong plants, and I want to know
I want you to be strong.
that there might be a bad day, that I
Yeah.
can't be there to water you. And like,
Well,
and I've
yes.
seen like my plants that I got from the greenhouse that were used to perfectly good conditions. They die within 3 seconds, where a resilient plant that wasn't in that perfect
Wasn't
condition,
babied, it was-
it can go for days, weeks. You don't even know. You can't even count it out. Like right now I have a tomato plant that I purposely, I starved it. I just kind of wanted to see what the tomato would do. I was like, how resilient are these plants? And I kind of left it outside on purpose, neglected it for 3 days, 4 days on purpose. Kept watching it each day, like, I'm neglecting you on purpose. I want to see how big this tomato, there's one tomato on this plant, I just want to see how big it will go while it looks dead.
while it's being like
Count it out.
malnourished.
Spicy tomato.
Yeah.
While it's being malnourished.
Yeah.
And it's not for me to do that to many plants, but I want to know how far they can go. Because I think it's kind of like humans. Like, we can go so far. And we're not even touching it.
No.
We're not even
I do
touching
feel like
it as
some
humans.
humans, some directors, some owners of businesses do that with their employees. Like they will like
I would say I do that.
and I think a lot of employers do. I mean, I think that with my own
How far
scenario.
can I push them to?
And it's like how
brain
far,
can
how like
think.
how
Everything
can
good?
we
Yeah.
eliminate so many elements of what you're used to, so that you can come and
Still
work for
perform.
us.
Yeah, you can still
Yeah,
perform.
which
You know, I actually don't think they do it consciously, but 85% of CEOs are sociopaths. So, if you look at,
and then there's that.
yeah, so if you look at
Yeah.
sociopathic behaviors in human beings and where sociopathic behaviors even come from and how they develop,
Yeah.
it makes sense that certain sociopaths are in a position of power that makes decisions on people's lives
Yeah.
and their
yeah.
livelihoods.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
Well, people
the-
take a certain
the-
amount of degree of abuse to it as employees to go through process.
Totally.
I ask myself all the time, like, why do people want to stay with me in a way? I'm not abusing them, but it's like there's a level of like, why do you stay? If it's always like this, if it's always torturous, if it's always busy, if it's always crazy, if it's always...
Is this based off their commentary? Is
No,
that,
it's
or
my own
are you
observation,
feeling
I
that on
think.
your?
They
okay.
stay
No,
with
I
you
think
because
it's
of your empathy,
observation
because
and,
you
like,
hug them.
But exactly, and
You hug them, that's why
and
they've stayed for 10 years, that's why. I know why they
nurture
stayed.
them. You nurture
Yeah, you
them,
nurture
like
them.
you were talking about
Because
earlier.
nurture doesn't mean I don't tell you no, or I'm not going to leave you on the cold.
Right.
Like,
But if someone feels
sometimes
cared
you gotta,
for,
you
if
can't,
someone
yeah.
feels loved
Right.
and
Then
appreciated,
you're still gonna stay.
they would rather stay somewhere where they're not maybe making a couple dollars more an hour,
Or they don't get that...
but or benefit or
insanity of
whatever.
it.
Yeah, but they're gonna stay there because they're like, I
They're
know
loved.
this place and I feel appreciated,
Right,
I
right.
feel loved,
Right.
and that's more
Trust and
important
I
to me.
feel- Yeah.
I remember one of my growers